Hello, my name is Jennifer and welcome to another battle renovation arranged by Havana Sims. This time we're doing the fish house renovation, which is actually a build by Havana, and I'm sure she'll say more in her video, which I recommend you go check out. But it was one of her original builds. So there's new owners of the house and we have their needs, and there's no real explanation for why it is what it is, but it is the shape of a fish, hence the fish house renovation. We had to keep the shape of the build. We could, add, remove, change windows, doors, fences, gates, landscaping, staircases, roofing, and foundation. The new owners love the quirky vibes of the house, but they're thinking about having children, so another level is needed. And they want a modern nautical theme throughout the home. And we had to have some sort of lake, pond, or water feature needed along with the garden. And Havana will be touring it at 2 p.m. on her Twitch, which will be linked down below. And the gallery hashtag was Fish House Reno, and you can see there the things that we weren't allowed to use when we did the renovation. So first off, I obviously got rid of everything that was in the house completely. I think I maybe kept the TV and used it later, possibly. And I got rid of everything on the outside, and then I end up moving the house. I left the doors just to give me remind me where the doors were, so that I sort of kept the door in the same spot. Or I moved the lot, I should say. That's why I moved the mailbox over towards it, and then I just played around where I wanted it to be, because I didn't want it to be fully in the middle, because we needed a garden, so I didn't want the house in the middle. I wanted it over to one side. And I'm adding a basement, and I also copied it and added a second floor. So this actually is going to have 3 levels, because it's going to have the basement and the second floor. The roof, I tried to do the one way and then it just didn't work. So then I flipped it and put it the other way, because I was going to put the door and have the door be where it was. So then I end up moving the door and putting it on the other side. But I hadn't quite decided there. I think there's where I'm deciding where I'm putting it. And then I put a porch above it. So the doors don't stay the same. I just left them. Now I was going to try and put a pool more around the house, kind of similar to what it was, but all the way up, so it got some natural light into that basement, but it didn't let me, as you may have seen. And said I add an entrance area on this side, which I like to have anyways. I don't want only water. I was always planning on having it on the one side, but I had hoped to make that pool a bit bigger than it ended up being. And for some reason, I don't know if the game got rid of it or I got rid of it, but there I put the stairs that are open, so they go through the whole thing. And the house was seemed to have a bit of a blue theme to start with, so I kept that. And it is on the diagonal, which I don't tend to build on the diagonal because I find it's finicky when you're placing things, which I run into in this house. So with the speed build, I show mainly the main floor and the upper floor and just a teeny bit of the basement. I will do a tour afterwards to show you everything that I did, because, I did a full lot with the garden, which of course my garden tends to be more a garden that Sims will garden in. So that's there, but there's some landscaping too. But I do that all off the camera, and this is like the entrance way. So usually I have like 2 doors, but because I have the pool off the kitchen, then there's no real room for a door there. So the alternative entrance is only from the basement, and those stairs off camera I switched to have them go into the yard area instead of having them go from there, so that you have to actually go inside, which actually works because that's your way into the house when you're in the backyard. The Sims just constantly would go in through the basement, which, like I said, you'll see it afterwards. And I mostly went with a modern theme. So I used a lot of modern windows, but with respect to nautical, I kind of went with island living. I think beach is one of the categories. I use that a little bit, like that flooring is from island living. And because it's a diagonal, I put that wall there, which is what I end up using for the kitchen area, which you can see here, but I use modern counters and it goes all the way there. I don't know that the Sims walk around there. They always seem to go from the back, but then it just, that seemed to be where they were coming from. So I'm not sure. They just didn't, but they didn't, I never actually tried. But the house itself is play tested. The version that will be on the gallery. I haven't quite put it on the gallery yet because I was still, checking things out, but it will be on the gallery. And on this main floor, which was originally all pretty much open with some things, it ends up being the teeny toddler room, this living room area with, I think that's the TV. So I did get it out of the inventory, I'm guessing, because there was nothing in the inventory afterwards. Nothing from this build. The Sims that I used to play test it already have a toddler, which is why I'm putting all the toddler stuff in here right away, as opposed to, planning on having a family. But they were ones I originally created using story mode, so they both were entertainers, so I consider that when I'm doing it. But I moved them into this save, so I changed them up a little bit, and I changed their traits, and I gave the husband animal enthusiast as one of his traits. I don't remember particular. I gave her maker. No, I gave her the knitting aspiration. So in the basement later on, I add some stuff, which you don't see because I did that off camera because I didn't want the video to be too long. So I just sort of showed the main bulk of the house in this video. And then upstairs, I was going to leave that all completely open and have the bedroom on the one side. But then when I was thinking about it, I thought it just seemed to, be more suitable as an actual bedroom and to have it separate so that they have some more privacy in there as opposed to just having a wall blocking part of the view. And so here's my little teeny toddler room, which has a bed, and it ends up with some blocks, and there's the blocks and the teddy bear and the potty and some decoration, and that's it. And I actually, lately when I've been putting fences, it doesn't seem to close in the opening. It used to always in the past whenever I built. And here I'm like, why is it so dark down there? Well, it's because it did. So I pull it out and then I realize what happened. So I pull it back in and then remove that spot so that there's some light going down there. But that's all it is. It's like a little window well. So they have a little bit of natural light. And this is just a spare bedroom. Also for when the toddler gets older, there's a bedroom down here where he can move and be in as a child and as a teen. So that little space. So this is pretty much all I show. And then the bathrooms, I did the one and I kind of copied it and I changed it a little bit. Mainly, I think down here I get rid of the tub. But of course, with a toddler, you need a tub. So on the, and you already actually see that there's no tub in there in the basement. But on this floor, I put a tub for the toddler. And then I figured as the master bathroom, they'd probably, essentially that one is kind of a master suite upstairs and they would want a tub up there. But I gave them showers also. Yeah, so and those little tables are really convenient when you have small spaces because really it's kind of a small space. It's not the biggest house, even though it's much bigger because I added an upstairs and a downstairs. And most of the walls throughout the house are just this plain color, which I think was also considered under the modern because like I said, you use modern on an island. But here in their room, I did add, that's from Moschino, that wall covering there. And of course, all the stuff from the Dream Home Decorator, which I don't love, that's modern. I just used it anyways because I like it. And I gave him a little desk. And there, as you can see, because it's diagonal, I had to obviously use the Alt key to center it there because it doesn't snap to be centered. And they have a radio up here. They have a few radios because they're musicians. I figure they like to have music in various places of the house. And a little plant there. And then a little seating area out here. And I don't know if I show it, but I end up putting a guitar. And they actually had a couple of things from the fact that I do show the guitar from their career where they have the little rugs. And I put that out too afterwards. They're like star rugs or something that they get in the entertainer career at a low level. They also, when I was playtesting it, they leveled up and got a Rock of Ages stereo. Both of them got it, but there was no room in the house. I just didn't put it out. They just have the wall stereos because they take the least room. and then their little table in this kitchen area. I did put the light back. That was one of the lights. Those lights were in the original house, and I had sold them, but I just thought as an homage to that, I would throw it in there. And there's some fish details in the vinyl house, some on the outside and some on the inside, because it is the fish house. So I changed the name to be Family Fish House because, of course, now it's kind of a family home. And I even used a high chair. I don't use high chairs very much, but the parents, being in the same career, they were out at the same time. So I hired a nanny, and he wanted some food, and I was like, well, let's see how well a nanny, looks after him with the high chair. And it worked pretty well. I had left food in the fridge, so I could have just grabbed the food out and let him eat, but I ended up doing that instead. I think that picture moves a few places. I can't remember. But of course, the family bulletin board, I have to have that. And that's really it for what I show. And we'll go to the after tour so you can see the whole lot afterwards. So here is what the house looks like after. It is fall in the game, so the colors are a little bit muted, and I added some windmills to the roof to help them a little bit with their power. They still have to pay for power. There's not enough to support everything that's in the house. Though, mind you, I might use auto lights, but because I want to get screenshots and stuff, I wasn't using them, so their bills probably would go down. So let's just go up a little bit so you can see here on the left hand side where the pool is, there's a little eating area, some lounge chairs, and much as you can't see it, there's also a barbecue here. On the right hand side, I'm going to go out of tab mode. We have a little shed for their garbage and their laundry. Let's go down, we'll come back up, and we'll actually put it into cutaway so you can see that they have like a laundry, recycling, and the garbage. So because I use the reduce and recycle lot trait for this lot, and though obviously you can just remove it if you don't want that, but that's how it is. And here's their backyard with their garden, which is like a garden that you can garden in, with the new flower beds or garden beds from Cottage Living. Some of these plants on this side are all from Cottage Living, and these are just a mixture of plants. They went to Finchwick. They actually went to Realm of Magic or Magic HQ, and they became spellcasters and bought some plants. Not necessarily got the death flower. So in the actual sheltered hoop house at the back there is a death flower and various other flowers. So it could be a lucrative garden when it fully matures. I'm not even sure that it always loads up mature. So, and there's a chicken coop back there. I noticed when I was putting one of my own builds onto my library and then placed it in another save that the chickens and the llama in that particular case, they came with. I was like, oh, I didn't know the animals came with it, because usually things like that don't. I'm not sure if it transfers to the gallery too. I would have thought maybe it did. So, and there's a little area there for the toddler, because as I said, they already have their toddler. And there's a spot, of course, for Patchy, who is off there right now. Let's actually play and let them go along, and you can see the chickens. I had my little toddler interact with the chickens, and the chicken was mostly liking the interactions, but then didn't, and he got a little sad. The chicken was mean. So you can see the little garden area back there, and as I said, I changed the stairs to be off this yard as opposed to it was from the front before, and I just changed it. So lots of windows in this house, lots of light coming in. So let's start. Why don't we start with the basement, which you haven't actually really seen yet, because I didn't fully do that in the build. And you can see here, so they have their entertainment, not their music. So they can have a little piano there, which is obviously portable. He's a genius, so I gave him a chess table, and I figured in keeping with being entertainers, they might like the media station. And then I gave her the knitting aspiration when I was moving her over, before I realized I hadn't remembered I created them a long time ago, so I didn't realize that they had been given the entertainer career. So when I moved them in, I gave her the knitting aspiration. So in hand with that, I gave her the knitting, and I thought the cross stitch too, and then the rocking chair. So that's this area, and the two other areas were like they were in the build. You can see them there. Just the same. Because they were entertainers, they actually got these quills, so I put that out too. So we're going to move on. And they also have a punching bag and a yoga mat down here, which can go outside and doesn't have to worry about getting rained on. It's not going to break. So here is this area that you would have mostly seen, but I tweaked it a little bit. I think I added a little bit more in terms of clutter, possibly. I ended up moving that over there. Added some shelves to put some preserves that they got when they were in Finchwick. And I think I had a decor and I put a clock there instead. This toddler room is essentially as you would have seen it. He looks like he's playing out there in the garden, as is the bathroom. I didn't change those. And our upstairs, you can see the bedroom, which was as I pretty much showed it when I was renovating it. And then this is their finished out little area out here, which you would have, I don't think is really that different. And of course, other than I added the little mat that comes with the career that they had unlocked, and then the easel was out there, and their office is there, and then the bathroom. So no one wanted to buy his jingle that he had made, and now you can actually better see the this pool area here where it has the barbecue, and it's a nice little area for entertaining and going for a little swim. So that is actually it for this part of the tour. I'll show some slideshows before and after, and while that's running, I'm just going to touch on the fact that, as I mentioned, Havana is doing a tour of everybody's builds. I will also link to the playlist of everybody's builds down below as soon as I have that, as well as a link to the vote. So you should go check out everybody's builds. If you happen to see this in time to go check out Havana's Twitch tour, which should be at 2 p.m., but it should be also available to watch afterwards if you missed it. Go check that out so that you know which one you want to vote for, which one is your favorite. But of course, it's good to watch everybody's videos, because then they'll talk about, what their thought process is in doing the build. And if you are actually interested in trying to convert this into a house yourself, the build by Havana is on the gallery under the hashtag FishHouseReno. I will show a screenshot up so that you can see what you're looking for, because on the gallery, all you see is the trees that were there in the first place. And if you do it, come join my Facebook group and show me the pictures of what you did with the house. I'd love to see them. The link will be down below. And my build will also be on the gallery if you want to check that out and add it to your game. So the voting should be due by Tuesday, August 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern, based on past practice. I don't have the details exactly right now, but I will make sure that they're down there, the link too, as I said. But that is going to be it for this video. Leave a like if you liked it. It really helps with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!